Hi guys, good morning. Stephen here. I wanted to make this video just to not discourage you and sour your expectations, but to put them in a realistic viewpoint. And hopefully, you know it's election day today and that everybody needs to get out and vote. And if you're coming from a conservative Christian perspective like I am, then you're really hoping for a red wave today, and of course I'm hoping for those things as well. And I'm not even making this video to try to downplay the the chances that's actually going to happen. I do think that there's a big chance that we see a red wave today. It just makes sense historically that midterms usually things swing in the other direction. So I am optimistic about that, but I wanted to set the expectation of what to expect if there is a red wave. If we do really get Republicans in the House and maybe even the Senate, we'll see if that's actually possible or not, but at least in the House and causing a stalemate of government. What are our expectations? Because politicians, they've been promising the world, right? They've been promising to get inflation under control, get the border under control, and you can just go down the list of things that they're talking about, being able to solve the crisis of the Biden administration. But are they really going to be able to do that? What should be our expectation for after the midterms? If we do have this red wave today, what are our expectations over the next weeks, months, and even years? And the truth of the matter is, our expectations should be rather low. Let's talk about the biggest thing that we're all concerned about, and that's inflation. When we think about inflation, inflation is something that works like a big tsunami wave. And once it gets going, it's very difficult to stop. And I know the Federal Reserve is working on raising interest rates, and that's supposedly going to keep inflation down. But there's too many other factors. See, they're working on trying to uh, destroy demand, right? So they're working on trying to slow down the economy, kind of hurt the economy just enough to get inflation in check, to try to destroy demand, and so that prices will come down a little bit. But the problem is that we have so many supply side issues with the reaction to the pandemic, not putting any investment into the oil and gas industry. And now we see, a diesel is going to be having major shortages coming up, which is everything travels by diesel. Okay. Jet planes go by diesel, boats come by diesel, everything that you ever could want, the things that you want delivered to your doorstep are coming by diesel trucks. Everything is using diesel, of course, heating, and we're going to be entering into winter. We've never had so little diesel going into winter. We did one time in 2008 have this little of diesel, but that was coming out of winter and in the springtime. So these are very concerning things that we have happening here. And inflation, all that being said, inflation is not going anywhere. And we should not anticipate that just because Republicans are sworn in January and the supposed red wave that's coming today, if it does come, it's still not going to deal with the inflation that's already set in. This tsunami has already started, and we should even expect that things are going to get worse in regards to inflation. We did not solve the issue just by Republicans getting voted in today. And I think that we need to have that proper expectation that this is a marathon race, that this is not a sprint, and that we should not have the expectation that in the next couple of months that inflation is going to be taken care of. Well, because the Republicans are in the House and they should be dealing with all these things. It's going to get worse, in my opinion, in my humble opinion. The inflation, I don't see it slowing down because there's nothing that has happened fundamentally to cause it to slow down. When you think about us not having refineries right now, they're running at 102%. Okay, now many of these refineries have been, shut down. They shut down after the pandemic, and they also are shut down. Why? Because we have an administration that doesn't give them any incentives. I'm going to switch hands here. Gives them any incentives to continue to explore, to continue to make new investments in. So a lot of these refineries, some of them have been shut down. You wonder, well, why don't they get these things going again? Well, it takes about 10 to 12 years for these investments in even reopening. I was reading an article. To open up one refinery may cost over $1 billion, and it may take them 10 to 12 years to get that $1 billion investment back out, so where they break even and actually can start making money off that investment. Now, what's going to happen in 10 to 12 years, according to the Biden administration? We're not going to be using oil and gas. According to them, we're all going to be on electric vehicles. That's what's all going to happen, and all of our energy sources apparently are going to be from so-called clean sources. So there's no incentive to do that. I'm mentioning all these things, and I'm getting highly political today just to say that these issues are not going to solve themselves in such a quick period of time. These things are going to take time, and the more that we can set proper expectations and widen our timeline, I think the better off that we're going to be. So yes, we need to get out and vote today. Yes, we need to be excited for a potential red wave, and yes, we want to put a check on this president and this administration. At the same time, we need to have the expectation that things are going to take time, that it's not going to happen in the next couple of weeks and months. These things this inflation especially, it's going to take a very long time to shake out because we have major supply side issues, and those things are not going away anytime soon. Yes, if we were to have a 2024 wave as well, and we open exploration back up, we assure the oil and gas industry that we're not going anywhere in 10 to 12 years, we're still going to be using oil and gas, then they'll make that new exploration, those new investments where they know that they can break even. Of course, 10 to 12 years and beyond, okay? Because if you had to build a new refinery, you need it even longer because it's going to take more than $1 billion. It's going to take an exponential amount of money to get that open. And then to be able to break even, you need years and years and years worth of activity, business activity, to make that pay off. They don't talk about that this much in the mainstream media, and it just sounds like the oil and gas companies are just fine with the way things are right now, and they're just sitting on their hands and enjoying the high prices. But the truth be told, they would be exploring more and they would be making new investments if they knew that we had an administration in a direction as a country that accepts that oil and gas is not going anywhere. That's not where we are. And of course, there's many other issues besides inflation, but I think it's the number one, and I wanted to get this video out just to set proper expectations. This video is way longer than I anticipated it being. Um, most of all, most important, we know that God is in control. He is sovereign over all things. He allows all things to work out for good. Now, they don't always seem good at the time because his thoughts are not our thoughts. His ways are higher than our ways. His thoughts are higher than our thoughts. We can't see what his plan is down the road, but we can trust that he is in charge. And that's the thing. You can have joy today. You don't need to be anxious or worried. We need to do our part. Of course, we need to make sure and watch the results, and we want to be involved in the process. We want to make sure everything is fair as much as it can possibly be. We want to do all those things, do the right things in regards to today, but we need to also remember that the Lord is in charge and that his way is the best way. Hope you guys have a great day, and God bless.